Hi, welcome to the MECFS Underground. My name is Scott Schneider, and thank you for joining me tonight in regard to this sort of emergency video that I am going to go ahead and film here to let you know about a historic legislative opportunity that exists here in the United States that not only will change the way MECFS is understood and defined in the United States, but also how it's funded, and not only in the United States but also the rest of the world, as this bill could be what is a sort of prototype bill for what the rest of the world governments may be able to pass in regard to MECFS from this point on in the future. So what I'm talking about is H.R. 7057. H.R. 7057 is a bill that currently is sitting in the House Energy and Commerce Committee. It was authored by Maryland 8th District Representative Jamie Raskin, following collaboration with Solve ME Initiative and other lobbyists from other advocacy groups. Mr. Raskin went ahead and introduced H.R. 7057 to Congress on May 28th, 2020. Now, for those of you who are in the U.S. and aren't real familiar with how congressional bills make their way to the president to be signed into law, introducing a bill in the House of Representatives is the first step. And it's done so through committee. So there's a leadership committee, in this case is the Energy and Commerce Committee, that Representative Raskin has decided to go ahead and put the bill in for introduction. And then it's up to that committee to go ahead and look at the bill, look at its costs, consider its merits, look at how its language will line up with what perhaps the needs are of the people who want it passed, or the rest of the particular party that introduces it. And all of this is considered, and then the bill then typically tends to be given amendments and sort of, if you will, revised to the point that it becomes what the committee feels is a better bill to pass out onto the House floor so that it can be debated and potentially passed on to the other chamber, which would be the Senate, so that it can be debated there and then pass on to the president. Occasionally, or many times, I'm sorry, the committee passes the bill onto a subcommittee to do a lot of that work. But right now we're not in that stage. Right now we're in the stage of the bill just being in committee and it's just sitting there. In order for it to get through all those other steps, we have to urge all of our representatives, that's on the House side, we're not in the Senate yet, so don't call your senator, just your House representative in your district, to not only co-sponsor this bill, but urge the leadership of the House Energy and Commerce Committee to get this bill what's called marked up, which is what I was describing before, all of those different changes made to it, so that it can be sent out to the floor. So you want your representative to urge the House Energy and Commerce Committee to go ahead and get the markups on this bill and get this bill ready so that it can be sent out on the House floor. Because unless it gets the needed attention from the committee and then voted by that committee to be put out on the House floor, it cannot go anywhere. I have reason to believe that once this gets out on the House floor, it's going to probably pass through, because once everyone's behind it, it's pretty much going to be a done deal. The bill's for $60 million to be funded annually, and it's a requirement, a mandated $60 million. So this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a mandated $60 million to fund the National Institutes of Health, so that that money can go to research and other projects that will help advance the cause of ME/CFS research, and as well as the bill mandates that we go ahead and the government write up clinical guidelines, that the government is able to write up and tell the medical community how they are to go ahead and actually provide clinician support and patient support to ME/CFS. And what that will do, of course, is take away all of this insanity that we currently have with patients not getting any kind of quality care in any hospital, clinic, or other type of medical setting, because that will actually write clear guidelines. And it will urge not only medical practitioners, but the people who are running these clinics and hospitals to get their what's in the gear and actually provide proper medical care to people with ME/CFS after diagnosing them. So it will urge the diagnosis and the care, and then it also will fund a government program that will be promoting ME/CFS, if you will, guidelines throughout the United States. They'll actually be telling people, employers and businesses, and basically putting out public health statements regarding ME/CFS and telling people that they're supposed to pay attention to this illness, and that it's something that they need to regard with respect and in all seriousness. So this is very important that you do this. It's a sad thing to me that a number of groups have not gotten behind this, because for years and years we have had advocacy groups, probably since the 1980s in the United States and probably longer around the world, have been urging governments to take this kind of action on ME/CFS care and diagnosis. And here the bill has been sitting in the Energy and Commerce Committee for over 2 months, and nothing's been done about it. No, it's like half the community doesn't even know it exists. So that's why I'm making this video tonight, so I want all of you to know about the existence of this bill and the importance of you getting behind it. Decades of people have toiled, and they have given their time and their hard-earned energy with ME/CFS to get to this point. All of the older advocacy groups, some that still exist, some that don't exist anymore, many of whose leaders are now in their sunset years and have spent the best prime parts of their lives not only dealing with ME/CFS, but pushing themselves to the brink to get the word out and to make extremely difficult and oftentimes painful and unrewarding gains, got us to this point. So we owe it to them. We also owe it to all the people in the ME/CFS community who have committed suicide because they were neglected the care needed and necessary, and they felt they had nothing to live for anymore. We owe all of those people that legacy, this legislation. So let's look up your congressman person and let's look up Bill HR 7057. You can find the text if you just Google that in. It'll come up very clearly on the congressional website. And let's go ahead and have you go ahead and phone, email your congressperson and tell them to get themselves behind this bill and get it passed onto the House floor. And then we get it to the Senate. We have the rest of the congressional year to do this, but that time will go fast, and there's a lot of things that will be going on between this time, especially with the election this year. And so you need to do within the realm of your health and symptoms, of course. Get this out and sound the alarm, and get it understood that this is an important piece of legislation that needs to be gotten onto the president's desk, whatever president happens to be, and hopefully before the end of the year. I would think, because it can't be before the next Congress starts. That'll be in January, because that's after the election. So it would be the current president. But all of that aside, this is a very important thing we need to be doing here. We can't let this opportunity go, or else we're going to have to end up starting up all over again after the elections and the next Congress convenes, of reintroducing a bill and getting the momentum started up again. So let's go do this, because this is what we've been waiting for, and it's sitting right here in front of us. So let's grab it by the throat, and let's go ahead and let's do what we need to do to accomplish this. You can also see more information about this bill on the MECFS Underground website, specifically my blog, which is on the front page. And thank you for listening, and I hope that you can, you or your caretakers can go ahead and back us in this fight to finally pass the needed legislation that will